Any complaints?
Not for now.
It took a lot of confidence for me to make this video. But I've decided I am going to do this because it's really important for me to document all of this, and I really feel like I should talk about this, so it's going to really help me. I hope it helps some other people out there. So yes, this took a lot of confidence because right now I don't feel like making this video, but by God's grace, by the time this video is out, I will have like really been over everything and I'm going to be like done with everything. So I had to wear my glasses because this is like 4 a.m. in the morning and my eyes really look puffy from the first video. This year has just been a year that if anybody really told me, Chidera, you're entering into 2021 and this is what you're going to experience this year, I would have just been like, please take me to another year. I don't want to go through any of this because throughout my life I don't think I've ever really gone through as much as I have gone through this year. Okay, maybe I have, but I feel like this year was much more than I expected. Really actually, because a lot of things dawned on me and this year just happened to just be full of surprises that in a way were things I didn't really expect was going to happen. Because when I wrote my New Year resolutions for the year, none of the things that I saw happen to me this year happened. So while people are all about, because this is like the end of the year and I'm talking about everything that's happened, this is like December 31st, so I'm really trying to remember everything that has happened. But that's why people are busy like posting how their year has really been very fruitful and amazing. I'm here talking about how my year has not been so good. Yes, definitely not been so good. So the beginning of the year opened up with me coming out of 2020 and thinking about how a lot of people were able to achieve most of their goals, and I felt like I needed to achieve my goals too. My goals being I wanted to work on my channel, I wanted to start a business and probably a long-term business, and I also wanted to really pass my academics, like really do all there. And I wanted to go into writing. I wanted to apply for a lot of competitions, essay competitions, and I also wanted to apply to a lot of magazines. I wanted to write a book, and I wanted to publish a book. So those were my goals this year. So as the year opened, I was like, yeah, me, these goals are about to be actualized. But man, it didn't turn out the way I actually thought it was going to turn. The first thing that happened was that I actually, when I started the year, I decided to open a Piggyvest account, which I did, and then I decided to start saving monthly. I think I put 1,000 naira monthly because I calculated it to be, or I think I put 2,000. I can't remember now, because I really wanted to like at least have something by the end of the year. So I started the year with short postings as a medical student, and when I started the year, I decided I was going to really put a lot into saving and then trying to create a source of livelihood or a source of income while in school. So after I put my money in Piggyvest, I found out that I needed to also get more income and add, so that by the end of the year probably I would have saved, if I was meant to save 1,000 every month, which is like 12,000, I would have saved let's say I'd have saved 2 times that. So if I had my own income, not like I'm saving from my own pocket money. So I wanted to do that, and then I decided to think of other ideas to make money, and that was when I did about cryptocurrency. So a friend of mine in class was the one that really helped me, because most guys were always talking about it, and I was like, okay, let me in on the secret, and everybody would just shush. I don't know, maybe they felt a girl cannot really do cryptocurrency or deal with losses, but I really wanted to, and so I decided to ask someone to help, and person eventually helped me, because he was like, there's actually no big deal in actually doing anything, but it's just that the biggie will be in trading. So yeah, I was like, oh, I'll just keep the money in, I'm not going to trade. I found out that cryptocurrency was not the way I thought it was. Like, it was not like this quick scheme. I had to like really be patient with it. And I was like, oh my god, I needed something real practical. And so I ventured into wigging and revamping hairs, human hairs. And so that was what I did, and I got a lot of money. I was like, a lot of money, but I at least was able to fund my piggy vest. That was the aim, to have money after the end of the year. So I was with that, and the way I launched the bill was very funny. I just woke up one night and I was like, I was going to post flyers, and that was it. And it turned out to be very, very amazing experience. But I decided to quit because I found out that, God, there was no end to how women, to how girls, to how ladies wanted their hair. And most of the time I was very busy with school. So I decided I was going to quit the business, and that was what I did. Later on, that was what I did. So when I quit, when I decided to stop the business, I found out that there were other things that I had problems with, or there were other ways I could get money. And then I was like, okay, cool, I could stop this and then go into the other ways to get money. So the first way was I decided to apply for a lot of essay competitions. So I had been scarred from applying for essay competitions in the previous year. So, and out of 20 applications I did in 2020, combined with 2019, I just got one, and it was like an honorable mention. Sorry, that was the magazine that I applied for. So, and then all the other ones I applied for that had monetary that had money. Yes, that had to do with money. Did not work. So I decided I wasn't going to apply at all. But my baby girl was really, really, really ready to like really make her year. Wow. So I said, okay, yes, I was going to apply for a lot of essay competitions and then magazines. So I started applying. I think I'm going to post each rejection letter. I'm going to it was not funny the way I was rejected. Man, when it came to writing, I knew that I was growing, but it felt like, okay, if I could just have one, it would spur me to push and keep on writing much more. But nothing, like nada. I'm telling you, like, I wrote at some point. I was not doing a lot of studying anymore, and I was doing a lot of writing. My mother should not see this video. I was doing a lot of writing. So I was like, there was this day where I wrote till almost 3 a.m. and I slept and I still had to read. So it was very, very daunting. It was like a daunting task for me, and I was really angry when all of those things I sacrificed sleepless nights for did not prove fruitful. So it was now like towards not December. It was now like towards August, and my exams were fast approaching, and there were major exams. And so I decided, okay, let me just put a stop to this. But I had a lot of things I really wanted to write, and I wanted to really apply to a lot of places. So I still kept on pushing, but I started reading much more, but I was not reading as much. But I was really reading, I was really studying. So when it now came to like the point where I needed, okay, let me drop everything, I dropped everything. And I started reading. So I'm going to post videos and I'm going to post pictures too of me. Because Fourth MBBS, nobody really explained medicine to me before I entered. I feel like I wish they sat me down. They were like, "This is what you're going to go through. This is the emotional trauma. This is the psychological ups and downs you're going to go through. So please try to keep yourself together. Try to just stick through it." And that was what I did. But it just seemed like if I was unprepared for the exams, in terms of, I didn't even know that there was anything like OSPI before I even wrote those exams seriously. I didn't know there was OSCE. I didn't know a lot of things. So when I was praying for the exams, I was learning those things gradually. And I felt like I really put in a lot of my best into these exams. So when I saw the result, I saw FT and I was very confused. In fact, I didn't even know FT was F theory. I know somebody had already tried to talk to us about how FT and there's FC and there's FCT, but I didn't really understand any of this. So I was just like, okay. So obviously, it meant that I'd failed. So I I won't go through the whole thing because it was really painful. I cried. At first I was in shock, and then I cried, and then people came, and then people consoling me, and then I had a lot of text messages, and then I got a lot of calls, and then I had a lot of, like, the thing about it, failing is, one thing you should know is that failing is, it's not who you are. I think that's like the lesson I learned from 2021. It's basically not who you are, because if you keep on thinking about the fact that you failed, it has to do with you, it has to do with what you are, it's going to really make you go into depression. And that's really something that I think a lot of people really try to make me understand, and it really helped me in the long term. Me really know how to deal with failure, like how to like reach out to a friend that fails. And failure also helped me know that sometimes failing is not really your fault, and it's not really who you are. Like I said earlier on, no matter what happened, like, there's always an explanation. It doesn't mean you're dumb, really, no matter how the scores went. So for me, that was actually it. So for me, I failed theory, and then when I went to check the scores, I didn't even expect what I saw, because I felt my failing theory meant I actually, like, failed MCQs or theory, like actual theory. But then when I went there, when I checked my scores, I discovered that what made me fail was my test scores. So it happened that during that period, we were trying to submit our test scores, and it didn't really go so well, because it's like the person we're meant to submit to was busy. The person that was one that was the examination officer, so he was really busy, and he didn't have enough time to collate our scores. So other people's scores were collated at the end, mine really wasn't. And so when the examiners sat down to have their meeting and they saw my scores, they were like, this girl really passed a lot of things, passed MCQ, passed theory, passed Viva, passed her clinicals, but then we can't make her pass because her test scores is low, which is indicative of the fact that she's not really serious with postings, and which means she has to come back and be serious with postings. So that was what I was told. And I cried because I worked hard at most people in my group. You know, there are serious students and there are unserious students, and never have I ever been on the unserious student side. I've always been very faithful to class, to school, to clerkings, the whole lot. And so I was really pissed and angry and sad, because my mark was like, just everything was just really solely based on that test score. The thing about it was that I had to deal with all of that on my own, and then I had to start from the beginning to read and to go through the whole process again, and then combining with the extra things my classmates were doing, the classes, the medicine and surgery and community medicine postings, and it was really hectic combining everything and then having to just merge everything. And it wasn't the funniest of things, and I don't really wish my enemy this kind of thing, because it's very bad, especially when you were not really at fault. Because at first I thought I was at fault at some point, but when you're not really at fault, it goes deeper, the pain runs deeper, and that was what happened to me. So I don't know, making this video makes me feel like I want to cry again. Trying to remember everything I have actually gone through, because the worst part of it was telling my parents that I failed. I really didn't want to, but my mom called and she knew I was always talking to her about how my results were going to come out soon. And then when she called, I wanted to lie, but I was like, let me just tell her. So I told her. And man, she was confused. It was like, okay, okay, just come back home. You know, this whole thing will fix itself. Just be brave. So my family was really there for me and were really there for me, and I was very appreciative of that fact. And you know, a few of my friends were really there for me too, and I was really appreciative of that fact. Most people, like, it really made me not to be so judgmental towards people, because not like I was always judgmental, but I always felt like when someone failed, like I felt like at least 20% was their fault. To announce to you, baby, that I passed my exams. Yes, I did. I did. I passed my exam. So on to the next one. Final year is a beehive of activities: surgery, medicine, community medicine. Definitely not funny. But this time around, I just have got to sit up and work harder